it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek, and welcome to the second episode of my new feature, my top 5 favourite films from the years that I have been alive. So last time we did 1967, which was the year I was born, so obviously we're going to do 1968. As displayed by, you can just make it out, can't you? The image there, 1968, that is the famous Earthrise image taken by Apollo 8. I think it was Apollo 8 as they went round the moon in 1968. Anywho, right, so we're going to do my top 5 favourite movies of this year. Obviously, as I said before, I don't actually remember them being at the cinema because I was just like 1 year old. But obviously seen them since. It's not necessarily the best films of the year, but, you know, I would argue that they are. But they're my favourite films of this year. And they're not in any particular order. They're just a top 5, but they're not in like, it's not a countdown or anything like that. So, right. So the first one is Planet of the Apes, starring Charlton Heston. A super classic film, in my opinion. There's a few films that I think are special. Superman the movie, 2001, the original Star Wars, stuff, films like that. And Planet of the Apes is one of them. It's a special film. It stands out above the other Planet of the Apes films, even though it's not my favourite of the Planet of the Apes films. I think it is the best. My favourite is Beneath the Planet of the Apes, which we'll get to in a couple of years. But anywho, so there we go, Planet of the Apes, starring Charlton Heston. Amazing film. Like I said, I'll not spoil it. If you've not seen it, I'll not spoil it. But he ends up going to space, coming back, crash land on Earth. Apes are running about, controlling the place. Humans are mute, and they've slipped back somehow. You know the rest, and everybody surely knows how it ends, but I'll not spoil it. So there we go. So that's Planet of the Apes. Next up is 2001: A Space Odyssey, the classic science fiction movie from Stanley Kubrick, written by Arthur C. Clarke. It's amazing. It's an amazing film. No idea what's going on in it. Nobody has. I don't think even Stanley Kubrick knew what was going on, or Arthur C. Clarke for that matter. Pardon me. It's about a monolith that's left by presumably alien beings. We presume they're aliens. We don't really know. But we see them way back at the dawn of man. There's a section at the beginning called The Dawn of Man. And weirdly enough, the next Oscars, the Planet of the Apes films got a special Oscar for special makeup effects. I think it was the first time it had been done. I think it was the first time there was a special makeup effects Oscar given, and that were given for the ape makeup in Planet of the Apes. But in my opinion, the ape makeup, or the ape man makeup that we see in 2001: A Space Odyssey, is immeasurably superior because it's got the mouths move and everything. It's amazing. But we see it from the dawn of man, as man emerges, from Africa, as essentially an ape man, and then learns to use tools and start killing each other. And then we cut to 2001. Where we learn that there's a monolith, because the ape men find a monolith, and that's what sparks off their intelligence, I suppose you could say. And then they find one on the moon, and then that's sending a signal out to Jupiter, and then so a spaceship is sent to Jupiter. Actually, the ship were actually already going to Jupiter, or the mission was already planned. But then it's kind of rejigged to investigate this monolith. But nobody knows about it, apart from the science crew who are in suspended animation. So there's just the 2 pilots and the ship's computer. Everything goes awry, and the rest is history. The amazing, what they call it, space warp, what they call it, into infinity, or whatever they call it. Beyond the infinite, I think it's called, the last bit where the astronaut is going through. I'm doing this. He's going through like this weird, colourful light show. But anyway, and everybody knows how that ends as well. So there we go. 2001: A Space Odyssey, not to be missed. Oddly, just by the way, about 2001, I went to see it in 1978 on the 10th anniversary when I was 11 years old. I went to see it, and I was only a kid, but I still loved it then. And as I said, I didn't know what was going on, and I still don't know what's going on. I just like the visuals and the music. I'd love to hear there was an actual score written, I think, by Jerry Goldsmith, and that never made it into the film. Stanley Kubrick decided to use the music of Strauss and all that, didn't he, instead? Anyway, I went to see it at the cinema, and it was an amazing experience. It had an intermission and everything. It was cool. So there we go. So that's 2001, A Space Odyssey. Next up, a Hammer film. The Devil Rides Out. In America, it was called The Devil's Bride. Apparently because The Devil Rides Out, people in America might have thought it were a Western. But based on the Dennis Wheatley book, starring Christopher Lee as a good guy, and he plays an amazing good guy. We've seen him as a good guy in other films as well. But this might be one of the earliest appearances as a goodie. But it's an amazing film. The effects don't really stand up, but it's a really cool atmospheric film about, devil worship and all this stuff's going on. Monsters are appearing, demons and stuff like that. It's great. It's a great film, and it's exciting as well. It's got car chases and all sorts, but it's set in the 1920s, so car chases with the old, bangers. But it's a great film. Give it a whirl. The Devil Rides Out. Next up, Ice Station Zebra, or Zebra, however you want to pronounce it. This is another one of those films that I think special. It's just like a notch above your regular, action, espionage sort of, spy thriller. It's an amazing film, I think it is anyway. Starring Rock Hudson as a submarine commander who's got to transport Patrick McGowan's shifty spy character to the Arctic to find a satellite that's soft landed in the Arctic, to retrieve, film from it, because it's been flying over secret areas. But of course, the Russians, or Soviets, should I say, are trying to get there first, and it's all cool and amazing. Edge of your seat stuff. See, I'm getting on the edge of my seat now. It's just thinking about it. It's edge of the seat stuff. It's really good, really, really good. So there we go. Ice Station Zebra. Next up, finally, a war film, Where Eagles Dare, starring Richard Burton and Clint Eastwood, and the gorgeous Ingrid Pitt, and some others. Obviously, there's a few other people in it, but they're the main ones that we're thinking about. Well, I am. An amazing war film, and a whodunit, espionage, and all that. It's even got a helicopter in it. I don't know if helicopters are around in whenever it's set, 1944 or whatever, 1943. But it's about an elite team that have got to go in and rescue a general, who isn't really a general, apparently. He's an actor pretending to be a general. Got to go in and rescue him because he's been captured by the Germans, and he's been held in a castle, Schloss Adler or something they call it. I think that's what they call it. And so obviously it's up on the mountain, and that's why it's called Where Eagles Dare, because they've got to get into this castle and rescue him and get back out again. And that's it. It's great stuff. Richard Burton in top form. Broadsword to Danny Boy and all that. It's a great war film with a great score and great action, and Clint Eastwood's great in it. He doesn't say a lot as usual, but he's just there eating up the screen because there's an amazing screen presence. So there we go. So that's it for 1968. My top five films: Planet of the Apes, 2001: A Space Odyssey, The Devil Rides Out, aka The Devil's Bride, Ice Station Zebra, whatever, and Where Eagles Dare. So there we go. So I look forward to seeing what 1969 has in store for us. What 5 films I will choose. I've already chosen them in a list here that I'm looking at, but never mind, I'm not going to let you know yet. So until then, wherever you are, look after each other, and until next time, I'll see thee.